Hi, welcome to the Lisa Saunders Show. I'm Lisa Saunders, and I have a new guest today and a repeat visitor who I love because she's always playing music for us. So I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourselves. And who are you?
My name is Debra Lynn Alt, and I'm a singer-songwriter.
And you brought your guitar, right?
I did bring my guitar right next to me today.
Okay, all right. Well, I look forward to that. And you are?
Hi, my name is Lisa Babbitt. I'm the 2018 March of Dimes Ambassador for Southeastern Connecticut this year. And I'm a mom.
And what does an ambassador do?
So this is my 4th year walking for March of Dimes and raising money since I had my children. And this year I was asked to represent the cause for the area and just raise awareness for the charity.
Okay, and how do you do that? Like, what are your duties?
So I am on the planning committee for our walk on Mother's Day weekend, and I have helped organize the event. I help fundraise for my own personal team's goal, just really tell my story about my family, tell people what March of Dimes did for myself and my family and what they do globally.
Oh, now, how are you connected currently? What is your current project together?
So we've known each other for a few years now, and when I was asked to be the ambassador family this year, we were on our first planning committee meeting. We were wondering who was going to sing our national anthem, and I instantly thought of Deb. So I messaged her and asked her, and she wrote back immediately, yes.
Oh, you're so helpful.
Oh, well, I did it last year too, right?
Yes.
I did it
Is
last
that why
year.
you thought of her?
I did, yes, yeah.
Because I met you briefly at the last year's walk in Old Mystic Village, and this year the walk is where?
This year the walk is actually just off property of Mohegan Sun in Uncasville.
Okay, is it outside?
It's outside, rain or shine.
Okay.
Yep, there's tents. I think last year it kind of rained on and off.
It was a little chilly last year, I remember.
But it was fine, because I remember going, I brought my dog Doolittle, and he got a March of Dimes bandana.
Oh, I remember.
Yep, dogs
purple,
are
right?
welcome.
It was purple.
It was purple.
It's a free event. There's going to be a lot of activities for the kids, food.
Right, so it's not
fun.
just marching around. Like, when you think of
No.
March of Dimes, you think of everyone's like marching.
Yeah, no,
there
it's
is
a really nice.
It's a nice
walking
gathering.
element, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But-
no, it's a really,
But
really
a lot of
nice.
it's like a festival type of atmosphere.
Exactly.
Where you have music and you have to talk.
Well, last year was really special, and I think this is a good segue for what we wanted to talk about partially, in that I walked last year, and Lisa came with, we don't want to get the Lisas mixed up, Lisa Saunders came with me, and of course we saw Lisa Babbitt and your family, and that was wonderful because I hadn't seen you in a while. And while we were walking, I got the inspiration to write the new song that we've been talking about.
Oh,
And
your song prevents birth defects.
Yes.
That's the point.
And as we're walking, and as I like to say, if I had been thinking about it, when I said, Lisa, I have this idea, I don't know if I ever would have suggested it because it was really a hard song in concept to write. Yet I was so inspired just feeling the energy of all the people at the walk and just imagining what everyone had gone through in the different forms of grief and transition and loss. And then we were together as friends, and I thought, this CMV cause means so much to you, and I know it's related to birth defects. So I said, I'm going to write a song, and I knew I was in the process of moving, and when I get settled, I'm going to sit down and do it. And it was the first song that I wrote. So I feel really connected to that event that day.
Because the March of Dimes inspired that in you.
Oh, it did.
Well, I was touched when I went last year because people wore a little thing, a badge or something, if you lost a child.
You wear a purple lei if you've had a child in the NICU for any length of time, and the parents that were walking around with the white lei is for a child that you've lost. I unfortunately get to wear both colors. I had a set of twins, my son John, my son William, almost 5 months early, if that's even a concept for people.
That's really tough.
I went into spontaneous premature labor for no reason. There's still no explanation, but it doesn't change the outcome. I had the best outcome and the worst outcome. My son John passed away at 10 days old. His lungs were not ready for this world. And William spent 127 days in the NICU between Yale, New Haven, and L&M here in New London.
Wow. What was that like?
It was so incredibly difficult. I don't even think the grief of losing John actually hit me until, William was home and healthy. And that was, maybe 6 or 7 months after he had passed. It's interesting. They were born in November, and the very first walk was 5 days after William came home from the hospital. And I just told my husband, we're going. We're doing it. And we don't have a team. We're going just to be around other parents that, we felt connected to. And we had an oxygen tank and a stroller, and we brought our dog, and we went. And our friend showed up. How did you know
about it at that point?
The nursing staff at Yale had a team and just really talked about it and felt like I could find a lot of support. And the nurse that took care of William, introduced me to a mom that was local here. And she'll be at the walk this year, Team Joshua.
Nice.
So, you find a community amongst each other of lost moms and dads also that, went through that hard experience of being in the NICU for so long.
That is a long time. As you know, my daughter passed away, but she was 16, and the NICU was a horrible experience, but it was pretty short, actually. Because suddenly her breathing regulated and we came home. I can't imagine having to have a child there day after day. I mean, yours was month after month.
Very, very difficult.
How many months was that?
He was born November 2nd and he came home March 20th.
Wow. Went through the whole winter.
Yeah, all the holidays.
Yeah.
So, and were you working at the time?
I was very fortunate that I was able to take that time off of work.
So so you're probably at the hospital
I was at the hospital every day.
That
was my job.
Because you didn't have other children.
Correct.
Okay,
right.
So you could be there all the time to hold them. Were you allowed to hold them?
I wasn't allowed to hold him for the first 2 weeks, and then I could hold him for an hour if he could tolerate it. And then, as he got healthier and healthier, it was longer and longer.
Why couldn't he tolerate it initially?
When he was first born, he actually didn't have any skin. He was born so early. He was very translucent and really just tacky. So he had to be in a incubator, which was a plastic box that kept it very humidified and kept his skin healthy.
Wow, that must have been heartbreaking to not be able to hold him. That's the most natural thing in the world to want to do.
The first time I got to hold John was after he had passed.
Wow. Well, I'm very impressed that the March of Dimes continues to do the work they did, and that you were able to feel their support even before you left the hospital. Yes, there's a family. We were very fortunate to be at Yale. Not every hospital in the state has it, but at Yale they have a family I can't remember her title. I'm so sorry, Michelle. But she works for March of Dimes, and she does one-on-one support, for the families there in the NICU. We had parking vouchers because it gets very expensive to park in New Haven every day. Food vouchers, clothing, just journals, and Christmas little mementos to try to make it feel more normal as it can be for you there in the NICU. Just touching base with me every day. Michelle took photos of John after he passed away. I didn't think to do that. She was the first person that was there for me. And she's been there, I found through my grieving, it's been 3 years now, on their birthday, I get all my friends and family to give gifts towards the NICU, and we drive down there yearly. Beautiful. To remember John and to celebrate William's health, and we bring a carload of gifts to the NICU for the families.
Like what?
Mobiles, blankets, clothing, books. I had my wedding dress turned into angel gowns for other families that may lose their babies.
Oh, beautiful. That's really special.
I've gotten baby books that are specific to the NICU because regular baby books you find just don't grasp what milestones. You're happy your baby breathed that day on their own.
Right.
So just items that I found comforting.
How do you turn because you just got struck with the wedding dress thing. A lot of people have a wedding dress, don't know what to do with it. How did you turn them into gowns? Is somebody...
I found this charity through a grief support group that I went to, and it came to me over the summer, and it was for John's first birthday, and I had made a promise to myself that, I can't change the outcome. He passed away, but I can have his name live on. I can do something good in his name. And so, throughout the year I tried to do little things, but on his birthday I want to do something special. Mm-hmm. So over the summer I sent my dress away to Iowa. They mailed it back to me right in time for his birthday with 11 gowns. Wow. They turned my dress into.
How did you know about this place in Iowa?
I found the group through a grief support page that
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
So you've been associated now with March of Dimes since the birth.
Yep.
Really?
So this is our 4th year participating in the fundraiser.
Did you know what did donations to March of Dimes go for you to help you?
I never realized how much until honestly I started researching what March of Dimes does. I mean, my son was on feeding tubes and oxygen, and their research and what the money goes towards really helps prevent afterbirth defects.
Mm-hmm.
My son had a brain bleed and needed continuous monitoring. He was on oxygen. Oxygen can actually cause blindness in infants.
Right.
And their research has honed it down to he was on 0.01 liters of oxygen at one point. Just really fine-tune his management that he was getting in neonatology, doctors and nurses.
How is his vision, William?
He has been completely cleared. He has 20/20 vision.
Wow. That's just wonderful. Congratulations to have such a good outcome for one. And sorry for your loss of the other. And so, Debra, you've written many songs for causes. And you said you got inspired to write for the cause that, because I try to prevent birth defects as well, caused by cytomegalovirus, which is the leading viral cause of birth defects. And you wrote a song.
Yes, I know you asked me to play it today, and I'm happy to. I just wanted to ask Lisa Babbitt one question before I play it. Would you say, Lisa, I know you've heard the song once or twice, and I know that the song was written specifically to help foster awareness about this particular congenital cause of birth defects. What would you say how do you feel when you hear this song in terms of your experience or the people that you know? If you could just tell me that, it would help me.
I just want people not to feel alone. You may not have known about March of Dimes or what they did prior to something happening. I certainly had no idea what the charity was about or what they provided here locally to families here in Connecticut. But I would just hope that if somebody is going through a hard time with their pregnancy, their goal is to have a healthy mom and a healthy baby. And, it was my first pregnancy. I didn't necessarily know all the risks and everything. You're just so happy. So.
Well, yeah, it seems that had I known, seems to strike a chord with a lot of aspects. And, it's good to know that that's how it feels.
Yeah, just so people know and listening to it, I mean, cytomegalovirus or CMV is it's a cause of premature births. It's a cause of hearing loss, cerebral palsy, and mental and physical challenges. My daughter had all of those. Not everybody has that, so I don't want everyone to get frightened by hearing about this. But it is something that we wish we had known. And there's so much to know before you get pregnant and during your pregnancy to protect it. And I think your song conveys what moms wish they knew.
And certainly, I think you've done an amazing job, Lisa, of providing this information. And you can find it on your website, and there's a lot of great resources that you've helped provide, books that you've written, and Anyway, I'm just very proud of you.
I'm proud of both of you.
In the days I carried you, all the ways I cared, sippy cups and kisses too, plates of food were shared, a blissful life at mother's speed. Why would I be alarmed? But love was all I'd ever need to keep my kids from harm. First time I laid eyes on you, the moment you were born, feeling that came over me, a stab of fear so strong. So began the surgeries, the stretching and the strain. Oh, how we loved your quiet smile, your sweet light, pure and brave. Had I known I'd be someone else today, I'd have something else to say. Had I known, had I known, life wouldn't have turned upside down. Could have been here with us now, had I known. If only someone told me of all that could go wrong. It's too easy not to talk about it. The silent virus has been hidden for too long. Something they call CMV, most children will be spared. Were they not at liberty to tell, afraid to scare? There's a promise that I made to keep as I let you go, my precious one. I'll sing this song so all the world will know. Had I known I could have found another way, I wouldn't wonder every day. Had I known, had I known, my heart would not have hit the ground, might have been beside me now, had I known.
That was
Had I
beautiful.
known.
It's hard for me to get through it.
I know it's.
And then have to talk on TV. Thank you, Debra.
Well, it's my pleasure. It's been a real honor and an inspiration to know you and the work that you do, and now to know Lisa, and just to see people that are so passionate about helping other mothers avoid some of the pain and grief that we've been through. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Right.
To help each other on our journeys, and we all have different kinds of grief and loss that we've dealt with. And music helps carry messages, it helps soothe, it helps comfort, and I feel really good to be able to contribute that.
Thank you. And you're going to be presenting that song and some of your other songs
Yes.
On May 9th at Mystic
Yes.
and Noank Library.
Yes.
So right before singing the national anthem for her at the march.
That's the weekend, right? A couple of days after it. Right?
No.
May 12th.
Right.
Hers is May 12th.
No,
the
I'm
library's
saying that's
May
what I
9th.
meant.
Yeah.
On the
couple days-
9th, I'll be
yes.
doing the event
Yes,
with you.
Yes, but you'll be performing at Mystic and Noank Library. There'll be refreshments, and
Yes.
you will be performing that song. You also have some fun stuff that has nothing to do with
Yes, well,
problems.
the reason I call the event Something to Sing About is because to me that captures what I'm most passionate about. There's always something to sing about. It doesn't matter what's happening in life, and there's always something fun, something sad, something moving, inspirational, and it actually is the name of the memoir that I'm working on, and I decided to call this event Something to Sing About because I'm going to sing as many songs as we have time for that do capture that feeling. And as you mentioned, there is a song I wrote for autism that was inspired by my nephew Sam. It's called Voice for Sam. And there's one that's fun which I know you love because we're both New Yorkers and replanted in Connecticut, is called Where New England Begins.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a fun song about the state of Connecticut from the perspective of having moved here from New York. And there's one for Habitat for Humanity where I did some work, and Each Moment We're Alive is another big project.
It's very inspiring.
Is,
and you have a book that goes with that.
Yes,
Each Moment We're
that
Alive.
was inspired by cancer survivors. And there's one I wrote, I was actually commissioned to write for a woman who had adopted a daughter and wanted something special for her. And there's a bunch of others, and I hope to get to as many as possible. Oh, the Mothers Against Drunk Driving, More Than Remember. And there's a lot of songs that I'd love to share. So we'll share as many and with the stories. And it is featuring Lisa because Lisa does want to help Lisa Saunders. And I hope you'll be able to come to Lisa Babbitt. She will talk a little bit about CMV
Right,
to
just
help
how to
educate
prevent
some,
it. Because
right.
what moms don't know, especially moms with toddlers, is that a majority of toddlers, especially if they're in group care, have contracted CMV. It's not hurting them, but they're
Right.
probably excreting it.
Mm-hmm.
I think up to 100% of children are toddlers
Mm-hmm.
because they mouth each other's toys and that kind
Right.
of thing. So mothers just need, pregnant mothers, or if you're
Right.
about to become pregnant, just need to be aware. You need to be careful. You don't share cups
Right.
with your toddlers. You don't share sloppy kisses. You don't. That's why you put in your song, plates of food were shared. In Japan, my story's in Japan out there, and they translate it, and they asked me to give them a message. And they don't share cups or kiss around the mouth. It's more they share food. They all
Right.
eat, I guess, because they just asked me to make sure that I talked about don't share plates of food.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you just mention those. You don't talk about, because it's not a prevention song. It's just
Right.
that you
But
wrote.
we're
You're
trying
trying
to
to get the
tell the story.
feeling, and you did a good job of the feeling.
Well,
But just so
thank
people
you.
aren't here wondering, how would I prevent it? I just wanted to let the TV audience know
Right.
how do you prevent it. Causes more disabilities and fetal alcohol syndrome.
Well,
So-
it's also, I mean, you mentioned that the prevention piece is that if you think about it, and I know that your work is hoping to bring it to the forefront of the consciousness of pregnant moms or women who are thinking about having children, that, I mean, we look how prominent Zika is in our awareness.
Right.
And that's a virus that can be prevented if we avoid places that are that have a lot of mosquitoes, and because we know Zika is carried by mosquitoes, for example. So hopefully the information about CMV, thanks largely to a lot of the work you're doing and other groups, is that people can prevent that as well. And it's just different forms of prevention.
And March of Dimes does a lot of prevention work, because I know they have a lot of materials on preventing
Yes.
fetal alcohol syndrome and all kinds of things. And the March of Dimes, at least on their website, I was encouraged to read something that's on their website. It says as many as 7 in 10 children, 70%, between 1 and 3 years of age who go to daycare may have CMV. They can pass it on to their families, caretakers, and other children. So I just appreciate March of Dimes' work at getting this information on their website.
Yeah,
'cause
their
people check
website
that.
is very transparent. They're very proud to show you exactly where your money's going if
Mhm.
you choose to contribute to the charity.
Yeah, it's just wonderful, and I look forward to going to the march and
Yes.
seeing you there, rain or shine.
Yes, rain or shine.
This time I don't have a dog, so I'm going to have to just wear the bandana around my neck myself or something. But I like getting bandanas for dogs. Do you think they're going to do the dogs and bandanas again?
Oh yes, there's
Okay.
dogs every year.
Okay, and I like getting to wear a lei
lei.
to remember our daughter by. Because it's the first, because she's been gone for so long now, since 2006.
It doesn't go away.
Sometimes and because it happened in New York and not in Connecticut, I hadn't really connected with Connecticut parents who've lost somebody.
And
But
all you have to do is look out through the crowd. And
a lot of my friends have lost a child. It's really kind of amazing how many do. So it's just not this rare. For some reason, you think if it's rare, the olden days, everybody lost kids. But
do you find sometimes that you meet someone and you have an instant connection and then you realize that you were both lost moms?
no, not because it's been a while, because it's not something that comes up right away. And because I'm older, people don't always ask, how many kids do you have?
Yeah.
But when I was younger, looking, I'd say, how many kids, because they're assuming that I'm probably on like grandma phase, you know?
It's just happened to me a few times, and not necessarily with people my own age.
Oh, but is it because though they ask you how many kids you have, and then you have that difficult answer to give?
Sometimes.
When people ask you how many children do you have, what do you say?
I have to feel out the conversation. Sometimes I'm brutally honest because I'm not hiding John, and I like to talk about him. But you feel out the conversation. Sometimes I just say the one.
Right.
So sometimes you feel like there's a connection and it's almost an
Exactly.
undercurrent that surfaces once you start speaking. That's interesting.
And it's happened more than once where I do share John with a complete stranger, and they'll tell me, they had a loss as well.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Usually, now, like I said, it's been long enough where I can just flat out say, well, I have one who passed at 16. And then, like I said, I can add this, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because I don't need the conversation to necessarily sink. Because you constantly have to cheer up other people.
Exactly. I always preface that, don't be sorry. And, I like to talk about him.
Right.
That's a good way to put it, because it's very life affirming to say it that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Keep their name alive.
Yep.
And we all have a purpose, and even if we only lived for 10 days, look at his purpose, what he's doing, the things that you're doing in his name. Sorry. It's really sweet. The birthday presents to Nikki is just a really touching idea.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. It's good to know. I mean, I would love to contribute to that too. That's a lovely thing.
Thank you.
So, how do you deal with the grieving? You said you started grieving more when William came home because maybe it was this realization,
I think
you had time to grieve more. Maybe I don't know.
William was so ill, and I just don't think my brain or my body allowed me to focus on anything else than getting him home.
Right.
And once he was home. That May, it hit me like a brick wall.
Wasn't that when you had a group of friends, I just remembered, gathered to help bring meals over? Was it during the time that you were going back and forth to the hospital, or when you came home?
No, it was when, you and Diane,
I remember, yeah.
That was very helpful. That was when we were driving daily, an hour to New Haven, back and forth, and spending 12 to 16 hours there.
Can you imagine?
A day.
No, because I didn't have to do that.
Right.
Like I said, for only a short period of time. We only have a couple minutes left. What should we have covered, or what do you want to just mention again?
I just want people to know that there is support out there. Whether you have a child that's, ill, critically ill, you're having a difficult pregnancy, or you had the ultimate loss of a child. There's help out there. If you ask for it, you're not alone.
And Debra, what about you?
Well, come out to the March of Dimes walk, and I'll be singing the national anthem. Do it with as much pizzazz as I can.
May 9th, that's Saturday.
No, that's May 13th. May 13th is
May 12th.
March 12th. Okay, we'll get it together.
It's Mother's Day weekend, but it's the Saturday.
It's Saturday of Mother's Day weekend,
May
which is
12th,
perfect.
and it's at 10 a.m., rain or shine.
Right, and we will be there.
Uncasville.
And then March 9th is something to
May
sing about.
9th is
I keep
something
on
to
saying
sing
March,
about
okay.
at Mystic and Noank Library. Thank you so much for joining us on the Lisa Saunders Show, and I'll see you next week.